Have you ever felt the desire to sit in the corner of a room mysteriously? The urge to wear a mask heavier than your skull in public? The need to raise the dead or cast fiendish spells beyond the comprehension of mortal minds? Well, then we probably would have gotten along in school. But more importantly, you might be a Darkus player. Darkus thrives off of the unknown, and reflecting that, it's a pretty flexible attribute, able to perform just about any playstyle effectively. And because of my latent sadist tendencies, today I present to you the Shadowcaster, a Darkus deck specialized in breaking your opponent down by intimidating them with impressive oppression effects and resource drain. Keep in mind that we will only be using Season 1 and 2 cards, and no support pieces. Feel free to add in additional waves of support or whatever pieces your group plays with. For our Bakugan, there are only two things that matter. Firstly, you'll want to use Bakugan that are of slightly higher G-power range in whatever rules your group plays with, so that you have frequent opportunities to use one of our ability cards later. Though it's your choice if you want all three to be like this, or leave one normal to low power to avoid reversal effects. I've chosen the latter option. Second, you want to make sure they look cool. We are trying to achieve peak edgelord rival character vibes over here. To that end, I've chosen to use Darkus El Condor at 340 G power, Siege at 360 G power, and Fear Ripper at 450 G power. But again, use whatever suits your table best. For gate cards, we want to choose things that will make our opponents seethe, so there's nowhere better to start than Copper. Sting has a low bonus all around, although it favors Darkus, and its effect forces the winning player to toss an ability card, which helps drain opponents that are doing just a little too well in the early game. Although, be careful not to kneecap yourself with it if you're the one winning. You can also use this to confuse your opponent by playing it at the start of the game and trying to get the first battle to begin here, effectively turning this into a low-energy silver card. If you're winning the brawl, I'd maybe try to avoid landing on this, and take the chance to go on the offensive, especially if you can make use of your green ability card. Gold gate cards won't normally remove your enemy's brain function nearly as much as Copper, but this should be an exception. Card Force is a gold gate card with sizable bonus for Darkus, and an effect that punishes an overly aggressive opponent. If that sounds too situational, remember that we brought Sting to drain resources from our opponent, as well as a means of reducing gate card effectiveness to force our opponents to catch up to us with abilities, so this should be coming up quite frequently. Or, your opponent might just be playing Pyrus. As per usual, silver gate cards don't matter too much. Anything like Pit Dweller or Haunted Knight will do the job just fine. Make sure it has a high bonus for Darkus, and if you know what you're up against, a low bonus for your opponent. Now moving on to ability cards, this is where we really get saucy.
Well, if it isn't Saucy Jack.
Copper Launcher is our go-to ability card for blue. It starts us off with a simple 100 G power bonus, but that can go all the way up to 200 if we play it on a Copper gate card. You've heard me rant about the gold Chaos version of this already, most likely, and how it got me acting unwise, so I'll spare you the details, and suffice to say that this card is just really well-rounded and frequently usable. Which is good, since our red and green cards are a little more specific, making this a nice fallback option if there's nothing else we can do. Our red ability card does a little trolling. If you thought we were going to get something to help us roll, then clearly you do not know that I am already the most skilled Bakugan roller alive. No, instead, we will be using Masquerade's Throw. As long as we are using a Darkus Bakugan, this card lets us force the opponent to yeet an ability card into the Shadow Realm before any roll we make, effectively running your opponent for his foams. You can shotgun this if your opponent's strategy relies precariously on their entire set of ability cards, like a certain Ventus video we covered, or you can wait for your opponent to use one or two of their less important cards to get a more targeted waste on their end. This pick also makes our Gold Gate card, Card Force, easier to set up in favor of us. For our final piece of the puzzle, and arguably the most important, we want to run the green ability card Darkus, the first one. If If your G power is higher than your opponent's by less than 70, hence why we only want to be a little stronger, their gate card bonus just shuts off. This is huge not only for going on the offensive and battling on the opponent's gate cards, but also stopping an opponent's push on one of your own. Shadowfire, detailed in our Flames of Rage video, is also just as good if you prefer pure offense. Remember, it doesn't matter what kind of shoe you kick your opponent in the balls with, it just matters that you do it. Though I will remind you that Shadowfire only works on enemy gate cards. If you couldn't already tell, this deck is going to make you lose pretty much all of your friends. Still, if you're a Darkus player who likes to sit in the corner casting their evil-ass spells, or cackle maniacally like I do, you probably didn't have any to begin with. That means you have nothing dragging you down to stop you from using Shadowcaster's tricky and oppressive game-changing effects to lock your opponent's options and take victory uncontested. As long as you stay out of the few situations where none of your abilities are applicable, or worse, they detriment you instead of the enemy, you'll find yourself coasting through most brawls like a real supervillain. Just watch out for the power of friendship. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.